You might be sitting still on an ordinary afternoon, holding a warm cup of something, watching the world move slowly outside your window. And then, without any warning at all, a face appears in your mind. Someone you have not seen in months, or maybe even years. Someone whose voice you can still hear clearly, even though so much time has passed. It is one of the strangest and most beautiful things about being human. Some people walk out of our daily lives and yet somehow never fully leave the quiet corners of our hearts. Life moves fast and stays busy. You meet new people every season. You pour your energy into your work, your family, your responsibilities, and the 1,000 small tasks that fill up an ordinary week. And still, every now and then, someone unexpected walks softly through your memory. Not because they were the wealthiest person you ever came across. Not because they were the most striking face in the room. Certainly not because they spent every moment of your time together trying to impress you or working hard to make you like them. They come back to you for reasons that are harder to name, but far more powerful than any of those things. This brings us to something worth thinking about deeply and honestly. What is it that truly makes a person stay in someone's mind long after they are gone? What creates that kind of quiet, lasting impression on another human heart? Most men are raised to believe that the answer lives somewhere on the outside. From a very young age, they are quietly taught that status matters, that achievements matter, that expensive things and clever words and polished appearances will earn them a place in someone's affection. And while those things might cause someone to glance in your direction for a brief moment, being noticed and being truly remembered are two completely different experiences. Many people get noticed every single day. Very few are remembered with genuine warmth. The men who stay in a woman's thoughts long after a conversation ends are usually doing something that goes much deeper than performing. They are not delivering a speech or reading from a rehearsed script. They are creating something that feels like a warm, quiet room where she can breathe. They are making her feel genuinely understood, emotionally comfortable, and completely free to be exactly who she is without editing herself. Those feelings do not fade when the conversation ends. They linger the way a good song stays in your mind long after the music has stopped. One of the most common mistakes men make when they meet someone they care about impressing is believing they need to put on some kind of show. They arrive to a conversation carrying an invisible script in their head. Every word gets measured before it leaves their mouth. Every story gets filtered through one anxious question that never stops running in the background. Will this make her like me more? It might look like confidence from the outside, but underneath it almost always comes from a place of fear. Fear of saying the wrong thing, fear of being judged, fear that who they actually are is somehow not enough. The painful result is that instead of truly being present with the person sitting right in front of them, they get completely lost inside their own heads. They are not connecting with her. They are managing an image. They stop living in the moment and start directing a performance that nobody actually asked to watch. And the deeper problem is that real connection simply cannot grow inside a performance. People are remarkably good at sensing when someone is being genuine and when someone is wearing a carefully constructed mask. A woman may not be able to point to exactly what feels slightly off, but she can feel it. She is not talking to the real person. She is talking to an edited, polished, carefully managed version of someone. And that invisible gap makes closeness almost impossible. Here is the quiet irony that most people miss entirely. The little things we try the hardest to hide are very often the exact things that make us easiest to connect with. The funny habits, the small mistakes, the awkward moments, the unusual way you see certain things, the stories that did not end the way you planned. These are the things that make you a real human being. When you strip all of that away in an attempt to appear perfect, you remove the very material that allows someone else to feel close to you. Without that closeness, attraction has nowhere solid to stand. Many people carry a mistaken belief that attraction grows when a woman is impressed by the size of your life or the weight of your accomplishments. But in real everyday experience, attraction almost always grows when she simply feels comfortable around you, when she can exhale, when she does not feel like she is being evaluated or sold something. Those are two very different paths, and understanding the difference between them changes everything about how a man moves through the world. When someone is always working to prove themselves, they create a kind of invisible pressure around every interaction. Every conversation starts to feel like a job interview. Every story sounds like a carefully arranged list of wins. Every exchange carries a silent, unspoken message underneath it, which is that needs to be told they are good enough. Even when those words are never spoken aloud, the energy behind them speaks very clearly. And people naturally feel a quiet kind of tiredness or discomfort when they sense that someone needs something from them emotionally, without even realizing it. The men who leave a lasting warmth in someone's heart operate very differently. Rather than trying to be the most impressive version of themselves, they focus on simply being present. They are not working to prove their value every few minutes because they already carry a quiet, settled sense of their own worth. That inner peace creates a kind of confidence that is completely different from the loud, look at me kind. It is a steady kind of strength. It does not need to announce itself to be felt by the people around it. There is a very particular quality that comes from being genuinely at peace with who you are. You can sense it in people who have it. They do not rush to fill silence. They do not feel the need to steer every conversation back to themselves. They do not keep checking whether they are doing a good enough job. This creates something truly rare and deeply attractive. People feel naturally drawn toward those who seem settled on the inside. Not because those people are flawless, but because being near them feels safe and easy in a way that is hard to find elsewhere. One of the most powerful shifts that can happen in a person's life is when they finally stop looking to others for reassurance and simply begin enjoying the experience of meeting people. The moment that happens, everything changes in the most natural way. Talking becomes lighter, connection becomes easier, and in a way that seems almost backwards at first. The less you worry about the outcome of an interaction, the more people genuinely want to be around you. Real bravery in this sense is not about making someone like you. It is about being completely okay whether they do or not. Being authentic is one of the rarest and most valuable things a person can offer. In a world that quietly encourages everyone to present only their most polished, impressive, carefully selected surface, most people are hiding something. They are editing their words, softening their opinions, and performing some version of themselves they believe will be better received than the real one. The problem is that while this might earn some attention in the short term, it almost never builds a genuine bridge between two people. When you allow yourself to simply be real, something quietly wonderful happens. You give the other person permission to be real too. She no longer feels like she has to perform or be careful around you. She does not feel watched or evaluated for her imperfections. Instead, she feels accepted. And being accepted for who you truly are is one of the most powerful experiences one human being can offer another. Think about the people in your life you trust most deeply. They are rarely the ones who appeared to have everything together perfectly. They are the ones who felt honest and human, who could laugh at their own mistakes, who made you feel safe enough to put your own guard down. safety is the soil where real connection grows. When a woman feels emotionally safe around a man, the time they spend together becomes something much more than a pleasant conversation. It becomes an experience that holds meaning. And that is the difference between being someone a person enjoys talking to once and being someone they find themselves thinking about long after the conversation has ended. Something important shifts in a man when he stops needing to prove himself to every room he walks into. It changes the way he listens, the way he speaks, and the way he pays attention to others. Many men carry an invisible weight with them everywhere they go. They feel they have to demonstrate their intelligence, their success, their strength, or their worth in every interaction. Because of this, their attention is always partly turned inward, monitoring how they appear rather than truly experiencing the person in front of them. Being genuinely present is something entirely different. It means you are actually there, in the moment, listening because you are truly curious, not because you are calculating what to say next. You notice the small things she mentions. You remember details. You respond to what she actually said rather than what you were planning to say while she was speaking. This kind of attention is rare enough in the modern world that when someone receives it, they feel it deeply. Most people walk through their days feeling only partially heard. When someone actually listens, when someone is truly there, it creates a feeling that is very hard to forget. That is why presence, more than any accomplishment or talent, often leaves the deepest mark on another person's heart. There is also a quiet truth worth sitting with about how attraction actually develops over time for most women. Some men operate under the assumption that it happens instantly or not at all, that it is either there in the first moment or it never comes. But in reality, attraction for most people is built slowly out of many small moments gathered together like pieces of something beautiful. The first impression matters, yes. How you look and carry yourself does play a role at the beginning, but it is only the opening page. What decides whether attraction grows or quietly fades is almost always the emotional experience that follows. Think about the men women still speak about warmly years after knowing them. They are rarely describing a man's appearance or his financial status. They are describing how they felt around him, how easy it was to be themselves, how much they laughed, how he paid attention to the small things. How he saw them, not as someone to win over, but as a person genuinely worth knowing. Those feelings create memories that do not fade. They create a connection that turns a brief encounter into something that stays in a person's life long after the meeting itself has passed. Men who understand this truth naturally stop pouring all their energy into the surface and begin investing in what lives underneath. They work on how they communicate, how they handle their emotions, how they treat the people around them when there is nothing to gain from it, and how they stay steady when things get uncertain. They understand that attraction might begin with a look, but it grows through connection, and connection is built from authenticity, presence, and genuine care. There is one more thing worth saying, and it might be the most important thing of all. The men who are truly impossible to forget have usually built lives that feel meaningful to them even when no one else is watching. They have things they care about, things they are working toward, and reasons of their own to greet each morning. They are not looking for someone to complete them because they already feel like a whole person. They are not searching for approval because they have developed a quiet confidence in who they are and what they stand for. They bring a different kind of energy to every relationship because they are not asking another person to carry the weight of their self-worth. This is where real, lasting attractiveness comes from. Not from perfection, not from wealth or status or a carefully constructed persona. It comes from the combination of being genuine, being steady, being truly curious about others, and being at peace with yourself. It comes from making another person feel seen and safe and free, while you yourself stand comfortably in who you are without apology. Most people spend years working on becoming more impressive, when the real work was always about becoming more real. Real people build real connections, and real connections are the only ones that ever truly last. The moment a man stops trying to become whoever he thinks the world wants him to be, and begins simply loving and living as the person he actually is, everything around him begins to change in the quietest and most beautiful way. That is where genuine confidence begins. That is where real attraction takes root. And that, without question, is what makes a person someone that no one who has ever truly known them can ever completely forget.